It's so heart-wrenching to raise these gorgeous little things into beautiful, capable adults, only to hear them say they don't want to live forever. This is so strange that I listen to them, and here are what I found out. Hey, how are you? I've been reading the people's comments on immortality, and clearly I am very confused. I've realized that after seeing what artificial intelligence has been able to accomplish, people have stopped disputing the possibility of immortality. But now they say they just don't want to live forever. Not only that, they are afraid they might not be allowed to die, even if they want to. I never expected any of this. These aren't even our elderly with tons of health problems. These are our youth. When I read their comments, I stood up and started pacing, talking out loud to their phantoms, explaining. This was serious. What people are worried about with the upcoming immortality? First, people are afraid of eternal misery. Then what about the overpopulation? They also wonder if immortality interferes with God's plans. Or what if only the wealthy and their cronies live forever? They say we learn everything and we play all the games, what now? And with no deadlines, who would accomplish anything? Most of our youth don't say it, but they hint at it.
Why should we want to work forever under a chokehold so others can have fun?
This isn't even the voice of people in poor countries who don't have enough to eat, live in huts made of cow dung, and wear our second-hand clothes. These are our adorable youth with good skin and clean, fashionable clothes. They carry nice phones, they have cars, they have their own rooms or rental apartments. They go to gorgeous gyms. They don't have deep poverty and stress-related wrinkles, or burnt and cracked skin from working in harsh climates. When you look at them, they all look cool and cute, seemingly without a worry in the world. But in fact, our youth are struggling to grow up, even though they really want to.
I can't do this anymore.
Many can't afford to buy a home, many can't afford to start a family, many still live under their parents' roof. How can we claim maturity if two older people can still walk into our rooms without knocking?
I said leave me alone.
This is our house.
Even our primitive ancestors could have their own shelters and provide for their kiddos. Actually, for their 10 or 12 kiddos, sometimes even more. I was in a village in Africa, and they said as soon as boys reached puberty, they would build them their own huts. In the meanwhile, in the allegedly developed countries, people have started to think differently.
Why would we want to extend our miserable lives to eternity without a family, without a home?
These were very reasonable complaints. So why do I say let's do this anyway? Why become immortal despite so many unhappy humans? We are doing this because of a never-changing principle in life. Nothing ever stays the same forever. Allow me to elaborate. 2 days ago, I had a horrible day. I had made 20 YouTube videos and nobody watches them. It takes at least 1 month to make each video, and to get 0 results is a horrible blow to one's ego and sanity. On top of that, I woke up in the middle of the night sobbing. I could barely breathe. 5 years in, I was still mourning the loss of my parents. The next night, I decided I couldn't live like that. I had to brighten my mood. I dressed up in black and went to one of these one-room music shows where we are so close that we can count all the musicians' freckles. Great music, fun crowd. I danced from 8 at night to 11:30 that night. I thought life couldn't get any better. I don't know the meaning of life, but I know every single one of us has had these kinds of ups and downs. And every single time, we thought it was the end of time, and life would never get better. And yet it did. We humans are amazing. Woohoo! We learn to adapt, we learn to accept, and we learn to forget. I had a patient who had started to lose his vision in his 50s, a handsome man with long hair and full of life. I was 100% sure he would be devastated. He said, "It's not that bad. I've learned to walk with the cane, and every day I go out and play my guitar in downtown." He played a few air guitar strings and continued, "People stop to talk to me. It's very fun." When we all help to achieve immortality, people like him, people like us, will continue our lives until we solve our health problems and all our other problems. So even if life is bad right now, it doesn't mean it will always stay like this. Imagine if our primitive ancestors could live forever and they said no because at the time they had a hard time finding food and many of their kids died left and right. Pull back far enough into history and definite patterns emerge. As you can see, major things have tremendously improved over time, at least for humans. We live longer, healthier, happier, and with much more entertainment. I know when we are in the middle of hard times, it's almost impossible to imagine that our lives are actually not as bad as they used to. If we bring back someone from our human past, only a few generations ago, and throw them into our homes, they will think we are billionaires. If they had any concept of the number billion, of course. Have you ever been hungry? A car ride away? Or a phone or click away and you get the food you crave? But the grocery store of our ancestors was the jungle. They had to hunt animals and pick in season fruits and vegetables one by one. Our ancestors didn't have hot or cold showers either. Every time they wanted to bathe, they had to dread the anacondas and crocodiles. They couldn't wash their bodies or clothes often. So they had body odor and head lice too, even their kings and queens. If it weren't for modern medicine, it would be very possible that the words you're hearing right now would be coming from a ghost. I've had many bouts of diarrhea and vomiting that have killed many kids in the past. Many horribly painful ear infections. I was hit in the head by my sister's moving swing when I was 3 years old, and it gashed my forehead open. Once my whole back was burned by scalding shower water. My grandmother cried for me the whole day. When I was a teenager, I got into a friendly fight with my sister. Yes, the same sister from the swing accident. She ran toward me, and in an attempt to escape, I stepped on my recently sharpened orange pencil. Ouch! And its point broke deep into my foot. We take it for granted, but infections and injuries used to be life and death situations. What I am trying to say is that not only are we surviving things, but also over time our lives have been improving. Having said all that, people's current frustrations are real. What is the definition of hell? A miserable place where we never die, and where suffering becomes permanent, stretching on for eternity. Oh no, thank you, oh no, thank you. But our upcoming lives will be amazingly enhanced, beautiful, and different. Looking into our very near future looks super fun. Our future is 3D printing everything we want. Robots working for us. What can I do for the masses? And living among the stars where all of us originated from. And yes, I know, some of the insufferable rich initially keep everything for themselves.
Everything is mine.
Out of jealousy and the need to be admired all the time. But eventually, progress and immortality reach the rest of us too, as they always do. Things always get better, especially with the forever time to make improvements. Let's work toward immortality first and troubleshoot along the way. Remember, our main goal is to turn Earth into Immortality Research Labs, so we all work together towards our wonderful future. Tell everybody. Tell everybody.